What's going on, guys? It's Nix back with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about a really, I feel, interesting and unique topic. I'm going to be discussing how the meta would change if we were to get the legendary trio for the birds, Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres into the game. We did get Raikou, Entei, and Suicune recently, and they are all currently residing in OU. Uh, except I think, actually, never mind. I think Entei just got moved down to UU, actually. Did it get just moved down? Yeah, it did. Okay, Entei just got moved down to UU, actually. That's really interesting. I know it was moved up to OU, moved down, and then moved up. It's doing that recently, but so we got Entei and I'm sorry, we have Suicune and Raikou in OU right now. So, and I believe that the next trio to be added into the game would be the birds. I believe it just makes sense. So, yeah, today I'm gonna be starting off with Articuno. And so, first of all, I would just like to talk about a few of the moves that Articuno does get in the game, and then how it would fare against like the OU or not OU. The tier that I specifically think that Articuno would probably reside in if it was added to the game would be either NU or untiered. Unfortunately, Articuno is the worst out of the three birds, based off of its typing and move pool. So if we go ahead and look at this, I believe that Articuno would be in NU, and with Articuno's moves that are notable, or just basically what you could probably run and get away with on its four move slots, it would be you have Agility, you have Ice Beam, you have both screens, Reflect and Light Screen, and then you have Roost, Snowscape, Blizzard, Tailwind, Hurricane, U-Turn, Toxic, and Roar. Now, with those moves, there's a lot of like variety and like options in what you can make with Articuno, but I would recommend for the set that would be the most effective, or be the most what do you call it? Be the most just the best set for Articuno to run would be to either have Tailwind or Ice Beam, and then you would want Toxic, you would want Roar, just to get any walls or any stalling mons out of your face, or any mons that are setting up on you. You would like to use Roar. And then as the last move, I would recommend either Protect or Roost. And then so with Articuno, you have a lot of like, it's just difficult to have Articuno on your team in the first place. That's why I believe it could be untiered, but it's so hard to get Articuno onto the field safely because of rocks. We have a few Stealth Rock setters in the NU tier. There's Aerodactyl, there's Golem, and there is Steelix that come to my mind right here, or that come to mind. Now, if Articuno, let's see if there's anything Articuno could threaten in this tier. Articuno can threaten. It's just a very difficult mon to even say anything about, really, because it is not the best. Um, Anything that it could threaten if you were trying to be offensive would just probably be Golem or Aerodactyl. And anything that's just super frail, so like Chinchino. And that's probably about it. There's not a lot of options. There's like, you can threaten Golbat, you could threaten Hitmonchan. But generally, this mon is going to be used more for like bulky utility purposes. For the recommended EVs in nature, I would either run Timid or Calm. If you're going to run Calm, I would do 252 HP, 252 special defense, and 6 in defense. You want to go for as much bulk as possible. And then, yeah, so if you do that set, you would do Calm. If you're going to run Timid and you're going to go more offensive, then I would recommend doing 252 speed, 252 special attack, and then 6 in either of the defense stats. And then for the item that I would run on Articuno, I would run leftovers to get that recovery back. But I really don't feel like Articuno would have a big impact on the metagame. Especially I just believe it would end up residing in either untiered or never used. So the next Pokemon that I am going to be talking about is actually Zapdos. Zapdos has a ton of potential, and this is definitely one of the mons that we're going to see hopefully end up residing in OU or UU, but I believe it will end up definitely being in OU. Zapdos is probably the best of the three. It does not have that 4-time Stealth Rock weakness like its other counterparts. And when we look at the OU tier, there's a lot of things that Zapdos can threaten. And one of the big ones is actually Scizor. Scizor is currently, if we look at the PvP statistics, in OU, Scizor is top of the tier right now. And by a decent margin, actually. About from the top 3 down to Starmie, it's about what is that, 17% difference from Hydreigon, which is crazy. So the notable moves for Zapdos that I would recommend are Thunder, Only if you're running Rain Team though. Thunder, Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Hurricane, Heat Wave, U-Turn, Roost, and Tailwind. I think all of those moves are pretty useful, especially because Pelipper is in OU, and so if you do run into a Pelipper, then your Thunders will be, 100% accuracy, your Hurricanes will be 100% accuracy, and basically you just really threaten Pelipper because you do outspeed, and you're basically getting free setup for automatically having 100% accurate moves. Now, the recommended set that I would say for the OU tier, because this is where it will most likely reside, is I would recommend Thunderbolt or Thunder, depending on if you are running Rain Team, like I said. And then I would recommend Heat Wave for you got Scizor and Ferrothorn. That'll easily get rid of those. And then the other two moves, I would say either Hidden Power Ice or Hidden Power Grass. It's kind of up to you, whatever you think is more valuable, because Hidden Power Ice hits. Let's see, we got Dragonite. But I believe it's like all the dragons in this tier. Yeah, Dragonite, Salamence. You can hit Garchomp and Gliscor. And then if you wanted to run Hidden Power Grass, that gets rid of Gastrodon, which pretty much counters Zapdos somewhat well. Actually very well. And then I believe that's it. So you'd probably prefer to run Hidden Power Ice. I don't see anything else that could really tank. Yeah. Okay, so I would say Hidden Power Ice. And then for the last slot, I would slot in Roost or U-Turn. That's totally up to you. And then for the EVs in Nature for Zapdos, I would totally recommend to run a Timid Nature. You will be outspeeding base 100. Well, Zapdos is base speed is 100, so you'll be speed tying with most base 100 Mons. A lot of the OU tier is pretty slow, so it's either a base 100 or lower than that for the most part. But Zapdos is very threatening for a lot of Mons in this tier. I could definitely see it messing up some Pokemon in this. I think Zapdos would definitely have the biggest impact of the three birds. And then for the item, I would recommend either Leftovers or Life Orb to get that damage output on your Pokemon. The only issues Zapdos would really have in this tier is against Chansey and Gastrodon if you do not have Hidden Power Grass. So everything else seems like it would not really struggle with. Maybe Magnezone would be a small issue for it, but Zapdos easily deals with Skarmory and Scizor, which are two really big threats in the tier. So yeah. And then the last one that I'm going to be talking about is obviously Moltres. Now Moltres is probably the in-between of the two, or of the three of them. I would say it is the second best. Even though it is 4 times weak to Stealth Rock, it still has a lot of options and utility purposes. So for Moltres, it has a lot of notable moves, including Flamethrower, Fire Blast, Heat Wave, Roost, Hurricane, Air Slash, and U-Turn. Now with that move pool, you might think, oh, that's not like very many moves, but you also can slot in a Hidden Power if needed. So I believe that if Moltres was to be added, it would not be an OU. I believe it would be either UU or never used. But just for the sake of having an example, I'll use UU as my example. So of course you have Venusaur. There is a lot of Mons in this tier that are pretty threatened by the stab moves of Moltres. Of course, Rotom, whatever. What is this form called? Rotom Lawnmower. I don't know. Whatever it's called. But you will threaten a lot of Mons with Moltres in this tier. And then the recommended set that I would say would be either Fire Blast or Flamethrower for one move. Then Hurricane, Hidden Power Grass is very useful here. You can hit a lot of things with that for either neutral or 4 times super effective. So one example being Swampert, and if let's see, is there any other options for that? Swampert and Seismitoad. I knew there was at least 2, so that'll get rid of those 2 normally threatening Mons. And then the last slot would go to Roost. And then for the EVs in Nature, I would recommend running a Timid Nature just to get as much speed as possible. And then 252 Special Attack, 252 Speed, and then 6 in either of your defenses. So that would be probably the best spread for that Pokemon. And then for the item, I would recommend just slapping a Life Orb on it. But of the 3, I really do believe that Zapdos will be making the biggest impact. Either way, I believe that all of them can make a pretty decent impact on each metagame respectively. Like Zapdos is definitely going to be taking over in Overused. And then I see Moltres ending up in either UU or never used, and then not Moltres, Articuno will definitely be untiered or never used. I don't see Articuno being a bulky threat in any of the higher tiers. It's just not that good of a mon. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of my opinion, but my personal opinion that I'm ending on is just Zapdos being OU, Moltres being UU or NU, and then Articuno being NU or untiered. So yeah, let me know if you guys agree. Leave a like if you did like the video, dislike if you didn't, and let me know what I should talk about next in my next video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.